right, this is the 7th leg of the trip, and we are in what I'm probably saying wrongly, Winnemucca, and we've actually got 3 racetracks. I didn't spot one coming in. We flew pretty much right over it, so we'll check that out on the way out. Then we're going to go to Battle Mountain, which has a track there, and then to Elko, which also has a track. As we get closer to Elko, we'll see the Ruby Mountains, which look to be pretty freaking huge. So we're just going to kind of follow I-80, and that should take us over all of these cities. It's going to be kind of a roundabout way. Now, this might be, well, looks like we're okay. There might be some thunderstorms that prevent us from getting too far, but it looks like we're okay at the moment. And then there might be a massive mine that we see, but I'm not sure how close we'll get to it. So this is going to be, I hope, a little shorter trip, but never know exactly how it's going to turn out when I start these, because looking at a map is always a little bit different than when you actually get up in the air and see how long it takes. So getting fired up right now. Turn on the taxi lights, beacon, strobe, nav, and go ahead and set that. We're already at 4,300 feet because everything is up really high here. Alright, so last time we came in here, landed, and now we're going to go around Sonoma Peak, down to Battle Mountain, and then over to Elko. Now there's storms in this area. How well the game handles that, not going to be 100% sure on that until we get a little closer. Let's go ahead and figure out what the wind is doing. Lots of wind. Alright, 27 at 19. So we need to we got 27. We want to take off runway 32. And we are going to depart east.
Kilo Whiskey Mike Charlie traffic Cessna Kilo November Echo Echo Bravo Oscar November 5 taking off runway 32 east departure.
Alright, let's get around this dude sitting in our way. We might hit him in the head with our wing. That's okay. No, just missing. I need to kind of, I don't know. I remember the layout of this was very weird. So I think we're going to be taxiing over this way and down that way to take off back to the north. I could pull up a map, but this is a small enough airport. I think we can figure it out. So yeah, I was a little worried when I loaded in that it was going to be just covered in thunderstorms. We might still get kind of dumb lightning out of things that shouldn't be. Assume we go down taxiway Bravo. Just be taxiing for a long time. So the layout of this place was just very odd. Sorry, I was clicked off and trying to rudder, and that made everything mess up. So like I said last time, obviously this is putting trees where there's probably just brush. And so that is why we're seeing what we're seeing here. Looks like we got a taxiway to the right here, and we will go ahead and head down that. So it's really pulling off to the right. I'm not sure why it is doing that. A little bit worried by that. I don't think. Make sure everything's working right. Pop out real quick. I think it's just the wind blowing us around. I think so. Alright, so we are going to have quite a bit of a headwind here taking off and are not going to need a whole lot of runway, and I don't feel like taxiing all the way down. We should. Yeah, we definitely have enough, so we're just going to get a run at it, go, and then right off the runway, about a mile or so, I think. Shit, what's going on here? Alright. I have no idea what's going on with the rudder. Calm down, plane. Up in the air. Okay. Is it gonna be a little calmer now? I think so. I think we were just getting some really bad wind there. Let's get this thing trimmed out a bit to climb at about this rate. Hop out real quick to see if we can spot this racetrack. It's probably not going to look all too great. I think maybe up here or up here. Just going to keep the flaps while we do this slow climb, trying to find this racetrack. It's a 3rd mile dirt track. And I'm guessing with the type of dirt that they have around here, from the looks of the pictures, lots of dry slick. Maybe it's up here? I think we're still on track. So yeah, we definitely flew over it when we came into the area, but we were too busy looking for a W instead of looking for a racetrack. So I didn't even think about racetracks being in this area. I'm gonna say that's it, or that's it. We'll get turned to the east once we see this. But yeah, it's pretty crazy that there's 3 racetracks right along I-80 in this stretch of the flight. And there you go. Right there. Some Winnemucca Speedway, I believe is what they called it. They do have a motocross track and a drag strip. I didn't even notice the drag strip when I was looking for this, so lots of things out here for them. But it kind of looks bigger than a 3rd mile, but that is what they listed as. And you can see very dry slick, rubbered, well, maybe not rubbered down, but very dry slick whenever these photos were taken. So we are going to continue in this direction. Let's go ahead and contact Salt Lake Center.
Salt Lake Center, Cessna Kilo November Echo Echo Bravo Oscar November 5 is type Cessna 152 5 miles north of Kilo Whiskey Mike Charlie 5,900 feet. Request flight following.
Cessna Kilo November Echo Echo Bravo Oscar November 5 Salt Lake Center. Squawk 1343.
Squawk 1343 Cessna Oscar November 5.
Alright, so since we are climbing out good,
Cessna Oscar November 5 radar contact 5 miles north of Kilo Whiskey, Mike Charlie 6,100 feet. Altimeter tree 0.00.
Roger, Cessna Oscar November 5.
we are going to head in this direction. Trim this thing out slightly better. You know what? I forgot to fuel up. I think we were at 3/4 of a tank. I'm gonna go ahead and change that, just because it did not actually take fuel out. Do that real quick. We're gonna head straight this way. I-80 is gonna go off and around. We've already been over in this area, looking for the W. And looks like there's a bit of cloud cover for when they took the photo. Same as over there, and instantly get thrown sideways. I feel like that might be a controller issue and not an actual, not actual wind. I have to say that this Thurstmaster, whatever HOTUS thing, definitely not worth the money. Works half the time, and been very disappointed with it. Like, it just randomly decides to lose calibration and be weird. So we're already up to 7,000 feet. Peak of the Sonoma Peak is 9,396. The Ruby Mountains are about 1,000 feet higher. See I-80 heading off in that direction. Need to get a little higher here. Should be able to clear this. Just shortcut a bit of this off, and once we pop up over this, we'll be able to probably see the interstate heading straight towards Battle Mountain. Kind of get an idea. This leg of the trip's going to be very, very easy to kind of follow where I'm at and not be completely lost. So yeah, this river That is over there and runs all the way to Elko up there. It is, I think they said like 270 to 380 miles long, depending on how you measure all the bends and wandering around it does. We see the interstate heading back around here and there, and Golconda is a little town right there, I believe. And then it's going to bend back up to follow with, well, the railroad bends back up to follow the river. I-80 is going to circle around through there and head down to that area, and that is where Battle Mountain is. So we're just going to point in that direction. I think we can just level off at 8,000. And it looks like we're going to be clear on weather, so that's good. Not going to have to deal with any of that. Just kind of getting tossed around a tiny bit here. Now we could just fly straight over to Elko, but the goal is to not get really lost here, so we're just gonna, since we have a major landmark here, keep it somewhat in sight. I will go a bit north once we get past Battle Mountain in order to try to see some really deep gold mines that are in the area, and just check that out, see if they have the elevation for that. I assume they do, because they've had really good elevation for any other kind of strip mining area that I've seen in my flights. So the railroad heads up that way to go with the river. Then once the river starts coming back this way, the railroad just goes straight off to Carlin and Elko. So I believe this is the town up here. Yeah, that is Golconda. Then I-80 kind of weaves itself through these little foothills. See the railroad, and probably an old highway that followed with the railroad heads off in that direction. That might actually... no, that's just an old highway, I think. So yeah, right now, looking on a real world radar, where these darker clouds are ahead is thunderstorms, and it's definitely not looking like thunderstorms in game right now. I've looked at comparisons of like weather mods that are out there, pay ones and free ones, and none of them seem to do any better of a job, which is unfortunate. So, when we get to Battle Mountain, the racetrack is just past town and right next to the airport. So it will be fairly easy to spot. I couldn't find a distance on what the track was there. It's maybe a third or a quarter mile. It kind of looks like all the tracks in this area are about the same distance. Back throttle off. Maybe that will get us level here and get us off the red line, which I forgot about. Save us a bit of fuel. So got a lot of mining icons. Look here, we're right around here where I-80 does its little weaves. So, no idea what these are going to end up being. We got a little town, Valmy, and then this is where the racetrack is. Then we'll head to Elko along I-80. Used to be a little greener around here. It's interesting that this is so dry right around what looks to be drainage. So I'm wondering if it just kind of floods itself out, or why that would be. You would think this would be the more green area, but who knows? So I don't know if we got some more fake buildings, or I guess it says there's a plant up there, so it might not be. Well, no, that wouldn't be a plant, would it? Maybe it is. I don't know. It might be some fake desert buildings that are being created for no reason again. And then we actually have this little ridge up here. It goes up to about 7,200, it looks like. So we'll go around the south side of that. I don't know if this is the mining operation. Not sure. Should be a little town right past this bend, so right there. think also somewhere out here, I don't know if it was in between here and Battle Mountain or Battle Mountain and Elko, but I think there was another motocross track. Yeah, this definitely looks like some mining going on somewhere. So yeah, this flight might still take about an hour, which is good. It's right around where I'd like to keep it. Turn it just a little bit, start heading more direct to the edge of this little ridge. Yeah, there's definitely something going on around here. It's like they're digging out and piling up. Digging out some up there. Oh, and you know what? That is not actually buildings. That looks like water reservoirs or something. Alright, so long stretch of straight I-80 all the way down to Battle Mountain. I'm not sure if which one of these mountains around here is actually the Battle Mountain, or if it's just a town called Battle Mountain. There's supposed to be a BM on the ground somewhere as well. So apparently these people like writing out letters for their towns. Kind of taking a look after Elko, and I think we'll do an Elko Salt Lake. Then I'm not sure how we're gonna get past Salt Lake, which way we're gonna go. South is an option, but we'd have to go directly south. So it may just be better to hop up over and try to head into Colorado. But then finding a pathway through Colorado that we can actually make is going to be difficult, because everything gets up pretty damn high around there. So we might have to go down south to I don't know where. I'll have to figure it out. I mean, it will be easier to go south if we get over, I think it's the Wasatch Range. Is that the one on the, I don't remember. I lived out here and I can't remember. I think so. I think Wasatch was right to the east and not the ones to the west. Salt Lake's such an awesome, awesome place. Looks very, very cool. And we'll have a racetrack there as well to look at that I've been to. Rocky Mountain Raceway. Looks like some mining going on up here. Really turned on me as I was trying to get the map back centered. Alright, so racetrack should be right around there. We are going to be pretty high up, but we'll be able to see it just fine. And then we're going to head in that general direction, I believe. Yeah, I think it's definitely, there's like a weird calibration thing going on with my stick that is, it's not actually the wind hitting, it's just the stick sitting there doing nothing and then all of a sudden saying, oh, I'm turning to the right. I've even put some dead zone in it before the flight to try to counteract that, but for some reason it's acting up. Not a big deal if you use an autopilot, but not what we have available for the 152. So Battle Creek is right there, or Battle Mountain, sorry. So many different little waterways that it floods over into and uses. So we started off behind that mountain, made pretty good progress. There's the airport, so that's got to be the racetrack there. I assume right around there or here. We'll just head directly that way. And then we should start seeing some snow-capped mountains. So to our left, like I said, we got 7276 ahead of us. 74. Once we get to the racetrack, we're gonna just turn to the left just a little bit and then head kind of direct to Elko. Not a very big town. The letters BM are, I assume, that there. No. I was supposed to go on this road, and it's right by a little kink. Maybe it's over there. Oh, there it is. BM. Is that Battle Mountain? That's much better than the W. I think we can all agree on that. Got some people out here living in the middle of all these little creeks. Not sure if I'd want to do that. There's a reason all of this is a bit flat. There is the tiny little tract. Just seeing it coming in to picture. Was there just a flash of lightning there? I seen the airplane sort of light up. So yeah, I'm gonna guess this is a quarter or a third mile. Looks like it's a little darker. Dirt used for the track. Maybe they got all fancy and brought in some different type of dirt. Pretty long corners on it. For being as short as it is. It's got a little go-kart track in the center too. Yeah, it's definitely a very long corner. And a motocross track. Alright. Now we head to Elko. So let's figure out which direction we need to go from here. It looks like at about 7. No, 6. So we'll have to pop up over the Tuscarado or Tuscaroro mountains, which I believe are these right here. And then after that, we'll have Elko, and I believe back there is the Ruby Mountains. And I-80 is going to come around this little formation and then head back down that way to go around that formation. We're just going to straight line it. That might take us over a big mining operation. And we'll see. $40 minutes in, and probably 20 minutes away from Elko, so about on target. And then we're probably about an hour and a half from Elko to Salt Lake. Got another one of those mountains that pushes up, slopes off. Kind of the theme of all of this out here. Except for the Ruby Mountains appear to be different. They're just a massive ridge that goes up on both sides. So I tried to understand how they formed. It didn't really make sense what it was saying. So I'm not even going to try to repeat and sound like I know what I'm talking about. But yeah, this whole area, even before we got here, very sparsely populated native area. It's yeah, I mean, it can't really support a whole lot of people just because of the limited access to water and land, anyways, it seems. Got some strip mining of the tops of these mountains here. Here's they take them under the interstate over to there, doing something, I don't know, but making the mountains a little shorter. Kind of getting bounced around as we just straight line this, but that is fine. Looks like lower clouds are forming up on the horizon. Might run into some rain as we get to Elko, but I don't know, like I said, I don't know if it has the ability to form up anything. Very odd how it just ends right there. I don't know what's going on with that. It was, I mean, it doesn't look like it's anything like a different time of year that the photo was taken. Not sure how to explain the difference in color of the ground and vegetation there. These look to be pretty steep cliffs here, so I'm sure that they look a lot more impressive in real life than they do in the game. Still heading 6 degrees, so or 60 to better say it. Yeah, local time it is 5:38. So still in Pacific time. I'm not sure where that changeover is. Or we might have crossed into Mountain Time. I'm not 100% sure, but fairly certain Salt Lake is Mountain Time. You know, I'm looking at the Salt Lake flight, and that might actually be a 2-hour flight. Might have to rethink that one and just go to Wendover and then Salt Lake. But we'll be going over Bonneville, I think. As we come into Salt Lake. Or I'm looking in the wrong area. Yeah, Bonneville. It's right there at Wendover. So that might be a good stop. We got a bit to the right there. So we're now at 11 hours on the engine time, which means that we are 7.6 hours into this journey. I'm wondering if we're going to be at about 30, 35 hours, maybe more. I mean, if we're only going to get to Salt Lake after 2 more hours, that's going to put us at around 9-10 hours. And that is, Salt Lake is going to be maybe a quarter. We could definitely go 40, 45 hours total on this thing. Yeah, finding out how absolutely massive this country is when you're doing it at 90 knots. But better than driving it, I assume. Which would take a crazy amount of time, since you can't just direct like we are. But doesn't look like we're going to run into any rain. The clouds are apparently past or right around the Ruby Mountains, and we've got what looks to be somewhat clear sky over Elko, so we have dropped a bit in altitude down to 7,000. Let's go ahead and trim up just a click. These mountains that we're coming up to are going to be around 6,500. Let me figure out where this... So the interstate heads off that direction. The river heads way south. And then Elko is actually elevation of Elko is 5,140 feet. It's kind of in a valley, so the world is climbing even further, and I think this will be the highest elevation that we land at so far. I'm gonna assume someplace in western Colorado we might get a little higher, or if we decide to go through the mountains, a stop around there will be. Got some dark clouds right there trying to form up, maybe. Once again, got myself off. We might just barely get over these. I mean, they are 7,700. Once we do, then should have what is a big mining operation right past this mountain, but I'm not sure it's going to be the one that I saw when I was doing some research. That's dug out quite a bit. Gonna power up fully and climb up a bit here. To get us to 8,000. So yeah, making progress. Getting these recorded out a long ways ahead. I think you're not even going to see this until up and see. Doing a better job of like figuring out when these are going to go out. So this is going to be like August 15th before this comes out. So that's like 5 weeks away. But it is going to be good to get ahead just in case there's an issue with the game or I just kind of get burnt out on it for a bit. Then, like I said, I don't want to be going through the mountains as we get closer to fall. But also, we're going to be getting down to the Gulf area when it's getting closer to a more active hurricane season. So it'll be interesting to see how that all comes together. So we're going to clear this just fine. We're climbing up even farther. And I think Elko is going to be back right around there. And we got the Ruby Mountains, I believe, over here, the Humble. Which everything Humble around here is named after some German guy. Big bumps as we go over this. Cleared it by about 1,000, so. And it does look like we got quite a large mining area going on around here. It doesn't look like there is a very deep. Squared off one, but I don't know, maybe they were just using like a stock photo to talk about it. Alright, back this down again. We should start dropping a bit of altitude. Alexander von Humboldt is who it's named after. And he died in 1859, if that tells you. So he was actually Prussian. Why it is named after him? I guess because he traveled in America exploring. Apparently was in this area, I would assume, or had a friend that discovered and named stuff in this area. This is a huge mining operation. Alright, so we got a little town down there. That is going to be Carlin. And then Elko, I think, is right up in here. Follow this road. I-8. Alright, so let's hop in. Let's go ahead and cancel flight following.
Salt Lake Center, Cessna Oscar, November 5, cancel flight following.
Cessna Oscar, November 5, Salt Lake Center, cancellation received. Squawk 1200.
It's been very pointless lately. No traffic whatsoever. Go ahead and contact Elko. Let's listen to weather first.
Kilo Oscar, automated weather observation 0000 Zulu. Wind 166 at 10.
Heavy rain.
10 in heavy.
Doesn't look like it. This game's weather is just so messed up. Alright, so what did it say? I've already forgotten what direction it was. 16. And let's go runway 12. Announce position.
Elko traffic, Cessna Kilo November Echo
Because
Echo
I actually
Bravo
know where
Oscar,
I'm at.
November 516 miles west, 8,500 feet inbound to land runway 12.
Head off in this direction since we're landing 1-2. Should be allow me to turn in. We're at 8,000 feet now. Trying to spot the town. Throttle. I think we got right around there. Where'd the interstate go? Okay, it goes through a tunnel and then up and around. And I think we're still a fair way off. Let's go ahead and level out. We've dropped enough. We're full throttle. Yeah, it's a little further off. I think directly in front of us. Interstate comes up, and then interstate and the river goes straight into town. It's gotta be right there. Be able to see that lake there is straight south of the town. So maybe right there. Maybe it's all the way up to that mountain, because we all know that I have a hard time telling elevation. So, see, what is throwing me off is I think this is that mountain that we can see right there. So the city should be ahead of that. The airport should be quite a ways ahead of that. Nope, there's the airport. That is 6. 12 is going to be the cross runway. Alright. It's all making sense. Go ahead and announce our position again.
Elko traffic, Cessna Kilo November Echo Echo Bravo Oscar November 56 miles west 7,000 feet inbound to land runway 12.
getting thrown around a bit. We're going really quick and fairly low over just the edge of all of these. At least landing on this shorter runway, we should be closer to the FBO. Got the Ruby Mountains over there, the tall ones. Try to spot the runway. What the hell was that noise? Sounded like we touched down there for a second. Do not want to be landing at the moment. Where is the runway? Shit, I have just... Is it this? Might have to go around. I am not seeing a damn thing. It's gotta be this, right? Alright. It is. We're good. Weird approach as the ground falls away from you. Burn off a bunch of speed here. Come in over I-80. There we go. A little hard, but it works. This airport scenery looks very terrible. Once again, getting weird control issues on the ground. Go over here and park. Just have to get this thing stopped because I tried to turn too quickly. And then we'll go try to figure out where the actual racetrack is. I've kind of forgot, but we should be able to find something pretty quickly if we get in the drone. We're just going to park here. It's good enough for me. Into the wind. Parking brake. Didn't do any of my lights as usual. And an hour and 2 minutes of flying. let's go ahead and hop up in the air. And looks like that's a horse track there. Trying to remember where it was. Not easy to spot. I don't think it's up in the mountains. I don't think it'd be in the middle of town. Real quick look, maybe it's this over here. No, that's looking like horse. That is not the right town. We're not looking in Minneapolis for Elko. Oh, a little thunder. Maybe that's what that noise was that I heard that confused me. I mean, it's supposed to be raining here, but they clearly got that wrong. Oh, it is out into mountains a bit here along this road. Let me speed this up. There's an E, and down in this little valley here is a 1/4 mile. You know what? That's probably pretty cool with the hills and mountains around it. Obviously not getting a good representation of what it's supposed to look like, but I might need to go look at a YouTube video of that track. But being a 1/4 mile, probably street stocks and B mods or something like that. But there you go. Elko, Nevada. It's thundering. Not a cloud in the sky. This game has issues. But at least the ground looks good. So, alright. Hope you enjoyed that flight. And we'll be heading to maybe Bonneville next and then to Salt Lake. Thanks for watching.